Hello, and welcome to Without Fathom. I'm MacGuffen, this is Daggerchart, and we just got ourselves a new Daggerchart panel at Gencon. So let's take a look at some of the new announcements and see what we can do to get a better view of Daggerheart's future. The first, and possibly most important announcement, is there will be some adorable new plushies. I don't usually get excited for accessories, but look how adorable they are. Next is the addition of campaign frame mechanics in the SRD, allowing third-party creators to build upon these rules in their own works. The next free adventure will be in August, and at least one of the free adventures will be based on Darrington Press's Find Familiar game. Okay, now that I've mentioned those, we can get more into the meat of the announcements. It's not a lot to base predictions on, but there are a lot of hints. Let's take a look at them and see what we can figure out. They confirm that they are moving to a slightly faster 2 books a year pace, as I predicted, with setting, campaign, and adventure books. The first one they mentioned was an adventure anthology book headed by Chris Perkins, giving several vague hints. I expect that the adventures will be based on existing campaign frames, or have a campaign frame to help set it up. Sirens and Sea Shanties sounds like we might get some sailing ship mechanics. Cowboys and Monsters and Rootin' Tootin' Coffin Shootin' both sound similar to Colossus of the Drylands, but aren't necessarily based on it. At the very least, will be Wild West themed, perhaps with an undead threat, classic fantasy with a twist, and a very angry pile of dirt. Could be literally anything. And people so sleepy they can see through time. Very relatable, as Matt said. Sounds fascinating. Next, they talked about Rowan Hall's setting book, described it as a place that embraces all the wonder, hope, and danger of Daggerheart core. It's a place that we're saying we want to make the bad worth fighting and the good worth fighting for. With these hints, many viewers' first thoughts upon hearing, in a world we might recognize, was Exandria, the setting of Critical Role's first 3 campaigns, but it is entirely possible that it's expanding on any of Daggerheart's 10 campaign frames or the Sablewood setting. I'm not going to jump to conclusions just yet. That said, anything can be kaiju if you squint hard enough, and spell-checking Archipelago at least 20 times a day does narrow it down some. Colossi could be considered kaiju, and Castle High does have an archipelago of floating islands. Or it could be referring to the Shattered Teeth on Exandria. The third book they discussed was Jeremy Crawford's new devilishly spooky setting, which, as I had been suspecting, will contain the Blood Domain and current Void classes, now firmly cementing the title of the book as Jeremy's Book of Blood, in my mind, at least. There are, or will be, peaks at the book's content and Saolan's miniseries currently going on. I really do need to get caught up on that for better predictions. And, of course, it also got its share of vague hints. Welcome to the End of the World, now with taxes, implies that there's some sort of strict governing entity in this setting. New engineering triangle just dropped, fast, cheap, and not possessed, is a play on you can only pick 2, good, fast, or cheap, and implies ghosts and possession are not uncommon. The rest of them, faster puppy dog kill, experience everything downtown has to offer, beautiful architecture, stylish locals, and absolutely catastrophic vibes, and come on in and get trapped inside an MC Escher painting, are pretty strong but unspecific vibes, and Jeremy having a great time. I'm excited to find out more about Jeremy's Book of Blood. Its dark, macabre themes seem to be fitting for the September-October 2027 release date that I predicted. We also got some hints as to some future Void drops. Something for the players to sink their fangs into. Since we already have a vampire transformation, this sounds like it might be a vampire class, but it could also be a new subclass for the Blood Hunter. If it's related to a class, it will, at the very least, have some connection to the Blood Domain. I'm something of a scientist myself, had many people suspecting an artificers in the works, but it could also be a Frankenstein-inspired mad scientist. Once again, possibly a new subclass. Give me a presence roll to kiss that guy. More social adversaries? This makes me wonder if maybe the previous hints were also adversaries. I find myself unsure about the final 3. We're also reprinting some limited runs you've been asking for. We've been asking to be granted permission to abscond with the inaugural plates from the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and imagining opening Al Capone's vault and actually finding something in there. Sounds very interesting. It sounds like a heist, but I'm not sure how that would appear in the Void. Unless it was some environments, maybe? Yes, I feel like the next Void update, which will most likely be August 4th, 11th, or Hope and Fear's official release date, the 25th, will include new adversaries and environments. The last thing I'll mention is that we finally have a set, yet unspecific time frame of this fall for the With Love and Magic campaign frame, also with its own set of vague hints that I don't think is anything other than what people are already expecting from it. Well, that about wraps up my analysis of the Gencon 2027 panel. Hey there, Editor MacGuffen here, with a quick note before I wrap up. While getting screenshots from the panel, I noticed that they refer to Rowan and Kai's setting as Daggerchart's first official setting book. Not sure how I missed that, but it does somewhat throw off some of my assumptions. The release time frame I had in my head was that the Adventure Anthology would release in the first half of next year, then Jeremy's Book of Blood would be in the latter half, and finally the Familiar Setting Book would be in 2028. If the Familiar Setting Book is first, that could mean my system for predicting book releases is off. We'll be getting 2 setting books next year, and only some setting books will have new player content. Or we'll actually be getting all 3 of these books next year. Something to ruminate on. Sorry for the interruption. Now back to the wrap up. What do you think about my interpretations? Did I miss anything? Leave a comment. And be sure to like and subscribe for more Daggerchart content. Till next time, have a great day. Bye!